Hey guys, Brian here from Starlight. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes here real quick and go over the three releases that we've put out so far in 2026. Give a little bit of background information and make sure people out there know why and what we're doing. So first off, I'm going to talk about My Confession, Recollections of a Rogue. Okay. This is a book I'm really happy and proud that we put out, honestly. Um, I'm a Blood Meridian nerd, as many of you are out there are as well. And so this memoir it seriously is just an indelible part of the Blood Meridian family. It's an absolutely must get if you're into that. Um, so with Blood Meridian, published in 1985 by Cormac McCarthy. Obviously, there's this massive rush through Mexico and then up into California. Scalp hunters, they get paid by the scalp to essentially rid northern Mexico of Indians or natives, and so my Confession Recollections of a Rogue is actually the memoir that, or one of the memoirs for sure, that inspired Blood Meridian quite a bit. And so it follows adventurer soldier Samuel Chamberlain in the Mexican War of 1846 to 48. He wrote it in the late 50s. I'll get to that in a minute. But it goes through his time in the Mexican War and is really something that it offers this stark contrast to Blood Meridian because in Blood Meridian, one of the things that is so fundamental to what it is and what it's about, right, is you get an absolutely no interiority from any of the characters in that book. None, not a single one. You don't know as they're carrying out these missions with the bloodshed, with the scalping, with the things that they're seeing, the things that they're doing to women, children, everybody else. You never get any concept at all what the characters are feeling, how this is affecting them, um, why they're doing what they're doing, besides the money, which they usually blow in the next town they go to. And and what this offers, the memoir, is so strikingly different. And that's one of the things that's so cool about it because you get no interiority in Blood Meridian. And all you get is interiority with Samuel Chamberlain. He won't shut up about it. He's constantly talking about the effects on things, how he's feeling. He has these escapades with some Latinas while he's down there. And he talks about how much, how he's in love with them. He writes poetry to them. Some of the poems are included in the memoir. And yet at the same time, he is oftentimes thought of as at least a possibility as the kind of the icon, if you will, for the kid. Now, the memoir itself starts when he was, I believe, 16. The kid, if I'm not mistaken, in Blood Meridian starts out when he's 14. And obviously, there are differences for sure, because Chamberlain is obviously quite literate, and the kid in the book is essentially functionally illiterate. But but if you're into Blood Meridian, and you are have nerded out in the past about taking notes on it or finding it interesting. If you've read any of these other books here I can grab a couple. Um, there's Perspectives on Cormac McCarthy, right, which has a number of Blood Meridian essays. There's Notes on Blood Meridian, which is by John Seepage, which is kind of the Bible, if you will, for if you're really wanting to find out more about Blood Meridian, right? Um, and so. And so this is just a fascinating portrayal and look at the Mexican War of 1846 to 48. So then you're thinking to yourself, well, what does that have to do with Blood Meridian, right? Yeah, it's a war down in Mexico and involves a lot of bloodshed and things like that. But what does that have to do with it? Well, when he finishes up with the Mexican War, he actually joins the scalp hunters in the memoir. And so we meet Glanton. We actually meet Glanton early on in the narrative. He kills somebody in a bar right in front of Chamberlain pretty early on. And then we're talking about Judge Holden, Tobin. We meet Tobin fairly early in this too, and he's in a decent amount of the memoir. Webster, and many others. And so it adds this whole extra level onto the historicity, if you will, of Blood Meridian and what that means. So. Um, I've also included essays in here from Daniel Pine, who actually was working on a screenplay in the 80s having to do with the Davy Crockett memoir. So he had to read a bunch of 19th century memoirs and has some really interesting things to add in that. We've got Stephanie Rentz. Now, Stephanie just published a book last year. We love to run, but this she published first, and this is a travelogue that goes along with Blood Meridian called "I Meant to Kill Ye." And what she did in this is she essentially uh, crossed the same steps that the scalp hunters took, and writes about what she found in that fascinating little book there. And she included an essay as well. And it's outstanding. And then Manny Torres, author Manny Torres, includes an essay in here as well, and that's excellent. Kind of almost uses the analogy of a boy's adventure, Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer kind of thing, which is kind of hilarious and disturbing at the same time. So and then I've got an intro and an afterword in there. But the point is that if you're into this kind of stuff, you got to check out My Confession, man. It is something else. So, and if you're into that stuff, now, like I mentioned earlier, you meet those scalp hunters, but you also meet, honestly, just a lot of historical characters to both Mexican and American history. I mean, we meet General Santa Anna. In the Mexican War, we meet Jefferson Davis, who later went on to become president of the Confederacy, and we meet William Hickman, who kind of had a little bit of fame last year or two. If you watch the season of American Primeval on Netflix, the Western, and Hickman is essentially the enforcer, if you will, for the Mormon militia. These are all real characters. And so it's just a fascinating look into not only our history, but its connections with Blood Meridian as well. So if you have the opportunity, pick that up. It's something else. Second book is Under a Black Flag. Now, Under a Black Flag, I'm not going to talk about a whole lot, and the reason is because it's by me, which is weird. So it's always weird talking about your own book. So anyways, this is the third book in the Sonny Haynes series. All right. It picks up in 1953 in Palm Springs and 29 Palms. He is going back and forth quite a bit there. It involves fixer Sonny Haynes, and the book starts out with very quickly, the first couple pages, with a sexual assault on a Western film set in 29 Palms. And Sonny gets called out there to kind of manage the spiraling situation and, put your seatbelt on and we kind of go from there. So yeah, the feedback on this has been really good so far. I don't like talking about it a whole lot because it's my own book and it's weird. But regardless, Under Black Flag, the new Sonny Haynes novel, I'm really happy with it. I'm proud of it. I hope you guys dig it as well. But regardless, pick this up when you can. And then the third one is Starlite Pulp Review number 7. Now, this came out in January. And this has 15 authors, okay, 15 stories. Ranges everything from crime fiction to westerns to horror to sci-fi. We've got some surf noir in there. We've got some foodie pulp, which is a first for us. And with these reviews, we've now had 5 stories be chosen in the last couple years of Best American Anthologies. So obviously that's something we're happy about and proud about. And this one came out in January, so hopefully we'll get some from that as well. But the point is that over 100 stories we've published in these things so far. Over 100 stories, over 90 authors. And for those writers out there, we're actually working on number 8 right now. That should be out in early July. And then submissions for the next one will open up in August. So 3 books. We got the review. We got Under a Black Flag, My Confession, Recollections of a Rogue. Pick them up if you can. Now, one last thing. And I say this for us, but I say this for all small presses and indie authors. Okay. If you pick one of these books up and you like it, no, not even one of these, just by an indie author, whatever. Okay. Like it or not, kind of like, with the social media thing, like you kind of got to do it. Like it or not, the reviews or the ratings that you guys leave on these sites, bookshop.org, Amazon, and any of the main Goodreads, any of the main book sites, they help a lot for small presses and indie authors. So if you get one of these books and you like it, if you don't like it that much, yeah, maybe you don't need to. But if you like it, if it's a 4 star or 5 star or something like that, you just literally just logging in and clicking that rating is a huge benefit for us, for indie authors, for small presses out there. Obviously, if you want to leave a full review, that would be even better. But I understand that that's time consuming and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But just clicking on that rating, if you like the book, is a big thing. So, and again, that doesn't just go for Starlight Pulp. That goes for just small presses, indie authors in general. So, just kind of keep that in mind. Anyways, those are the 3 books we've put out so far in 2026. We'll have another one in early July, like I said, review number 8. And yeah, that's that. Thanks so much for watching, and pick one of these up if you can. Thanks.